Hello everyone. A few days ago I penned an irritated tweet in response to one of the latest happenings on the increasingly heated culture war front, in response to the decision of an actor named Ellen Elliott Page. I am employing this awkward and impossible naming style because it is now apparently mandatory and am probably doing it wrong nonetheless, as you're doing it wrong is the whole point of what has been made mandatory. But also, I'm trying to make a point. I've essentially been banned from Twitter as a consequence. I say banned, although technically I have been suspended. But the suspension will not be lifted unless I delete the hateful tweet in question, and I would rather die than do that. What was it that I said that caused such a fuss? Here's the tweet in question. Remember when pride was a sin? And Ellen Page just had her breasts removed by a criminal physician. Then a link to a story that detailed out the happenings. The response from Twitter, quote, violating our rules against hateful conduct. You may not promote violence against, threaten, or harass other people. Let's take this apart. First, it is clearly the case that I did not promote violence against or threaten anyone. So that leaves the arguably lesser sin of harass. Let's assume, since I wasn't informed, that that was the crime. And further, harassment on the basis of so-called gender identity, since Twitter did not do me the favor of actually specifying my crime, and there are many possibilities on that front. We unfortunately have to guess at why this has occurred, and that's actually a big problem in and of itself, and I should at least know exactly what I did wrong if I am required to acknowledge that my tweet violated the Twitter rules. What rules, you sons of bitches? Because such things matter when the accusations start flying. Let's begin with, remember when pride was a sin? Although that is merely a factual statement, because under the old rules, applicable even a decade ago, pride was a sin and had been recognized as perhaps the cardinal sin for thousands of years previously. It still might be regarded as unacceptable to the woke authoritarian moralists who now insist, for example, that we celebrate Pride Month, not hour or day or week, but month, and who have literally called it Pride Month. I don't regard pride as a virtue. I don't see that sexual orientation or sexual desire of any sort is something to celebrate or to take pride in. Now, it's possible that I hurt someone's feelings because I pointed out that pride goes before, for example, a fall. I'd also consider it my duty to warn those who are about to fall into a pit that the path they are on leads suddenly downhill. Next phrase to interrogate. And Ellen Page, the name of a well-known actress, there I'm in trouble again, I committed the fatal crime of what has come to be known as dead naming. So I should have either called him, her, they, Elliot, instead of Ellen. Next phrase is, just had her breasts removed. I employed the forbidden pronoun her when Elliot, Ellen, is now to be regarded as a he or else. But there's a conundrum here, to say the least. Was Elliot/Ellen a she or a he when she or he or they had his or her or their breasts removed? If he or she was a he, then why was it necessary to have the mastectomy? Were those male breasts or female breasts that were removed? If they were male breasts, then why were they removed? Elliot still Ellen and he still she? Elliot Page just had his breasts removed? It was definitely Ellen at some point in the past. Will all those have to be reshot since they employed the hated dead name? That doesn't exist, by the way, except in the sensorial and addled minds of a tiny fraction of insanely narcissistic and increasingly dangerous trans activists? And how can I describe the fact that someone who was once a woman, and really still is, had her breasts cut off because she, he, they, their, them had fallen prey to a viciously harmful fad without using the appropriate sex-linked pronoun and the real name of the real person to whom this was really done? Hypothetically govern morality itself in the days of the degenerated postmodern and Marxist ethos that we must still, no matter how impossible it is, abide by, or else. And you might object, believe firmly that Ellen/Elliot, or whatever the hell her name or his name is, bears moral culpability for that. With regard to the final phrase, criminal physician, I must say that I've had some regrets about that phrase. It is clearly the case that the surgical operation performed by the butchers who butchered Elliot/Ellen was legal. Were the operations undertaken by the fascist physicians who carried out the Nazi medical experiments legal? Yes, under the laws of the time. But were they criminal? I'll leave that question up to you to answer. And I'm not taking down that tweet or acknowledging that my tweet violated the Twitter rules. Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who. Twitter's a rat hole in the final analysis, and I have probably contributed to that. No doubt I owe some apologies for that, and I'm trying to learn. But it's a relief in some real sense to be banned. And I regard it under the present conditions as a badge of honor.